Greetings, sports entertainment enthusiasts! This is CAW Acadian champion Homeless Bob, and you are currently watching Wrestle Geeks Recaps, catching you up on AEW Dynamite, NXT, and so very much more.
Welcome everybody to Wrestle Geeks Recaps for Impact Wrestling, March 9th. We're going to jump right into this because this is the go-home show for... We're jumping right into the episode today. No plugs, nothing fancy. This is the go-home show for Sacrifice. We had a great one. I really enjoyed this episode. I am your host, Trevor Firth. I'm being joined also from Canada, Jordan Talbot.
Mm-hmm.
And all the way from the UK, Jay Scriven.
How are we doing?
So, before we jump into the show itself, Jay, I believe you had a little opening rant you wanted to give us?
Ladies and gentlemen,
yes.
Be prepared. Be prepared.
So, this is purely about people saying... I actually listened to yours today. About people saying ex-WWE guys going to AEW.
Oh, you heard what I had to say about it. Okay.
Yeah, I went and listened to it after your point that you said that you had. And honestly, it's driving me fucking mad. Like I sat there on Facebook the other day just reading people, another ex-WWE guy. No, he's just a wrestler. And to me, with Christian Cage, I just want to say this. He was a mid-carder until he went to Impact. Like,
very true.
He was nothing until he went to Impact. And even when he went back to WWE, he was not really much more than a mid-carder, really. An upper mid-carder, let's say.
Yeah.
You know? And then they're calling AEW TNA 0.20. But if you look at WWE from 2015, yeah, they've hired more Impact guys than they have anyone else.
True.
You know,
true.
You've got Abyss, Sting, Styles, Samoa Joe, the Hardys. Okay, they came back to WWE, but they went off and went to TNA for a good few years. You know, and even Bobby Lashley recently said he wouldn't be a world title in WWE. He wouldn't hold a world title in WWE now if it wasn't for him holding a world title in Impact Wrestling. Like, why do people not just see these are wrestlers and not guys? You know,
Yeah.
Everyone's aim is to work for fucking WWE. Sammy Callahan, an ex-WWE guy, because he worked for WWE. Fucking even Shearer, he worked for WWE.
Oh,
so
it's tryouts, yeah.
No,
yeah.
I mean,
or
most people mean like the big names, right? Of course, when they say that stuff, like, you know, Cardona, people like that who have been there forever. But it's like, no, I agree with you. Kurt Angle, Christian Cage, Matt Hardy, these people were a bigger deal in Impact than they were in WWE. And the fans saying this stuff, man, comparing AEW, calling it TNA 2.0, those are the fans that, like me, only started watching in around 2001, 2002. But unlike me, didn't watch anything prior to that. I was saying this with JP on the New Japan episode, to a lot of modern day fans, the idea, when they look back at WCW, ECW, and WWE from the 90s, from the mid to late 90s, right? To them, that's all WWE.
Yeah.
Because it's all the same history now.
Yeah.
The one thing that really...
Yeah.
The one thing that really blew my mind is they were going, EC3 is just a fucking WWE guy. Like,
wow.
No, he's not.
No way.
He worked for WWE as whatever his name was.
Derek Bateman.
Derek Bateman, yes. And was nothing. It was literally nothing. And then went to Impact Wrestling and became a star.
Yep.
And then went over to NXT, did nothing at NXT that really significantly, and then was what? Fucking
put on the main. Yeah, he was put on the main roster to be silent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To just stare at himself in a mirror and not say anything. That was his gimmick.
Yeah.
That was bad.
Something I'll throw in there because, you know, I was the guy who at the AEW thing did say, you know, too many ex-WWE guys. And I hear what you guys are both saying. But I completely agree with you. Anybody who says that AEW is just TNA 2.0, first of all, the storylines are way better than what, like, that time of TNA, like when TNA was just trying to do anything to throw on the wall and just, you know, see if it works. Sometimes their storylines can be good. And, but you never know what storylines are going to work. But, you know, AEW is doing their best, and they're doing very well in my opinion. And anybody who calls like a company, oh yeah, they're just a company, they're just doing what TNA did over there. It's like, you can have any vision you think, you can say anything you want about a company, but at the end of the result is the company doing good? Is the shows good? Are the wrestlers having good matches? Are there, good? Are you going to watch more of it? And the answer is yes. Even when TNA was doing horrible, there was still something to watch, and there was still something you'd want to watch again. Like everybody says TNA was horrible during like the Dixie Carter days. Well, people forget the broken Matt Hardy, or when EC3 was killing it, or when Bobby Lashley was a monster back then. People really forget that, and it's really sad when people just jump on the negatives of what a company's done instead of looking at the positives of what something has done.
Something I'll be elaborating on this a little bit more in the AEW episode. Sometimes we think that something will boost ratings and nothing happens.
Mm-hmm. You can never guarantee ratings. It never happens.
Exactly.
Like every time you tell me that you're gonna every time they say this is a must-watch moment, to me, I just go, okay, well, I'm not going to say it's the biggest moment ever in wrestling, because that's never going to be the case, because there's always going to be a bigger moment, in my opinion. But, you never know.
Yep. And everybody's big moment's not the same.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
So, March 9th, Impact Wrestling. Please, everybody, before we dive into it, like, share, subscribe.
Or else!
BTI. Before we get into the match from BTI, I want to bring up the little Callahan segment that we had on it. Mm-hmm. I like this. I like this promo. This is the kind of stuff that's going to make BTI feel like it's really worth watching.
Mm-hmm.
It's just Callahan being Callahan, and what I really liked is that they didn't re-air it during the main show.
Mm-hmm.
There's still little things they can do to make BTI better, in my opinion, but they have time. It's a growing experience, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anything you guys want to say about BTI itself, or the Callahan segment before going into the match? Jay?
Yeah. So, all right. So I had a couple of issues with BTI. Well, I didn't have a couple of issues. I had one issue. So we get the announcement that there's 5 matches on there, and then on BTI they book Havoc and Nevaeh versus
5 matches for Sacrifice. You mean, right?
Yeah, for Sacrifice. Yeah, sorry.
Yep, just clarifying.
And then they book Havoc and Nevaeh against Tenille Dashwood and Caleb with a K, which is, to me, is really clever. Booking a match on BTI, which shows you don't want to miss out. Yeah, and then a few minutes later, you have Josh Matthews talking to D'Lo Brown, and he's like, "Well, we've got 9 matches for Sacrifice," and it's like, "Well, you've only announced 6 of them." Where's that coming from? It just killed.
We know there's 3 more coming tonight.
Yeah, that's it. You're setting up 3 matches before and it's meant to be filmed before Impact was filmed. How do they know that's going to happen? And it just killed kayfabe. I was really disappointed with that bit.
Yeah, it's little things like that. Impact needs to watch out for still, and TV tapings make that difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's so easy to get lost in your dates and your promos when you're filming everything all in 2 days, and it's supposed to last you 6 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, no, I agree. Little things like that would make it better. One thing, take the Impact replay moment or flashback moment, whatever the hell it's called, on the main card.
Mm-hmm.
Take that off the main card, put that on BTI,
and
actually give the match. Not only will because they are being smart about what matches they're picking and choosing now.
Oh yeah,
because the matches they're picking and choosing are relevant. You can tell Lashley after Lashley wins the title.
Yep.
You know what I mean? But build actually give a little like, oh, our flashback match for this week is going to be blah, 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 and actually tell us the importance of that match. Tell us what was happening. Tell us. That way you don't need to show the entire match. You could do the jump clip by clip jump highlight thing like they do sometimes. And for viewers who are not familiar with that Impact history, you're still getting enough of the match that you're enjoying it. If anything, you're probably liking it more because you're not seeing the parts that might not have been as good. And you're getting the entire context and story for the match by Josh Matthews, Mean Gia, and whatever the other guy's name is, because I forgot it again. Sorry?
John Burton.
John Burton. Okay. I'm really gonna try to remember. I'm bad at names, man. I have so many names written down at all the time when I'm doing these things.
So we had the Madman Fulton and versus JTP on that match. Oh my god, that match on the card.
Yeah.
TJP, yeah.
TJP.
TJP, JTP. You've got
Jordan,
me confused now. Now I'm worrying if I've got his name wrong again.
Jordan, what do you think of the match?
It did what it did for me. They did the classic thing where the big bodyguard is softening up the champion for the challenger, who is his boss in a way. I was really excited for this match, actually, because I love Madman Fulton. I think he's just got $1 million look. I just love his craziness. And TJP is always exciting, and I always, am excited to see what he does in a match with somebody. But all in all, I was like, okay, I know what they're doing with this match. They're, doing the classic thing that, they've always done with bodyguards, with the wrestlers. But, the main thing is, did it work? And I think it did. It definitely, it definitely helps, the match for him and Ace Austin at Sacrifice.
Also, we don't get to see Fulton in singles matches very often. And he's not okay. Usually when the bodyguard guys don't get a lot of singles matches, it's because these guys are secretly working their asses off behind the scene to get good enough.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But like, they're imposing presence, and they're good enough to do tag matches in minimal burst, and right. So like, they try to use the kind of like how Braun Strowman was at first. They try to use these guys in smaller burst, but Fulton is beyond that.
Yeah,
like well beyond that.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to see them use Fulton a little bit more often because I really like this. This is really fun. And they have the guys to go up against Fulton too. Like, look at like Larry D and AC, Luke Gallows. Like, they got a lot of big, tall guys on Impact.
Yeah.
But that's all I really had to say about it.
Something I noticed about the match was Ace Austin. He did a really good job of watching Fulton's back. Like, you don't normally see it when there's the bodyguard in the ring.
That's true.
Ace was getting up onto, and kind of, it looked more like a partnership than a bodyguard.
Yeah.
And that's something that really stood out to me because you don't see that very often in wrestling. You've got the big man who, let's face it, you knew Fulton was going to lose this match. It was pretty obvious,
Yeah.
Because it gives TJP a win going into the pay-per-view. But he did really well, and the way Ace Austin and them work together was, you don't see it very often. I really liked it.
Yeah. Actually, that makes me think. That connected a dot for me. They remind me, like, they've been studying Shawn Michaels and Diesel.
Yep, I see it too.
They've absolutely been studying Shawn Michaels and Diesel because, like, you're like, when was the last time I saw you see the guy do that for the bodyguard? And I'm like, the last time I saw that was Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
So, like, that was, They've been studying the best.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, what you were saying before about bodyguards usually not wrestling, and because usually they're building up guys, and sorry for interrupting you, by the way. But
that was done.
But for any wrestling promoter that is doing that, who has like the big guy protecting like the smaller guy, but they're not using him a lot for because they want to build him. The best example I've ever seen of someone doing that is an ECW with a big man wrestler named 911, who literally his job was to just come in, chokeslam guys, and that's it. And the crowd loved it. Like, they would chant 911 for him. But, you know, he was one of those guys, sadly, that had an ego, and Paul Heyman decided to have him lose to Ron Simmons in 3 minutes. But, you know, if you do use the big guy for, like, as your bodyguard for your small heel guy, really, like, save him for those matches. Don't just throw him in. Just really, like, let's really wait and be excited. Like, oh, man, this guy's going to wrestle.
Well, it's like we were
the
saying.
Big monster, yeah.
Like we were saying for AEW, it's like Wardlow. Wardlow's due.
Yeah.
Wardlow's due for a match.
Yeah.
So, main card. We're going to go into the main show itself. It starts off with Tasha Steelz versus Jazz.
Mm-hmm.
I was surprised with how good this one was, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think, like, both of them went hard-hitting match on both of them's part. Like, Jazz, I expected the hard-hitting, but Tasha Steelz she's showing that it doesn't matter who she's in the ring with. She's good. She's damn good. She can step it up whenever she needs to. Yeah.
Tasha tap out after Grace attacks and stops Kira from distracting.
Okay.
I can't read my own writing.
So, but what do you guys have to say about Tasha Steelz and Jazz? Like,
man, this match just shows me how good Jazz is. Even, you know, how long she's been in the business. She's been in the business a long time. I don't know how long, but she's been in for quite a while. Like, I remember her back in ECW, like the original ECW, and, you know, in the early WWE, like in 2003. But that just shows you what a good wrestler she is. When you're one of those talents that, you know, yeah, you've been in a business for a while, but you still can work with some really good talent. And Tasha Steelz and the great thing that Tasha Steelz, I think, showed was that her and Kira Hogan are those two wrestlers who can, even in singles matches, they are stars. And that's really rare for, you know, a tag team. Even in men's tag team. Sometimes tag teams have to rely on the other to do really well. But, you know, Tasha Steelz showed she can work with a great wrestler like Jazz and still have a really awesome match. And I'm really excited to see what she does. I hope she does more singles matches, not just tag team.
Yeah. I know her best as a singles wrestler from before she joined Impact, so. Jay?
I talk about Jazz. I think Jazz is really good. She's 48 years old, you know.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
But then I was looking, and Edge is 47, and he can still put on matches. And, you know, you got Styles who's coming to, like, what, he's 43, I think. You know, and it just shows that this industry, when Jazz first come back, I was worried that she wasn't going to take any bumps and stuff.
Yeah.
She looked like she was going to, but this match really impressed me. And with Fire and Flavor, I'm really looking forward to when we see them face the Beautiful People. I don't know if it's going to happen, but it's got to happen.
Oh.
It's got to.
Oh, man, that
Beautiful
would be
people. Oh, Lord.
That'd be amazing. Oh, well done.
God, beautiful people.
After the match, we go backstage and we have ODB being interviewed by Gia. Susan shows up saying that, like, she can take ODB and she's gonna she doesn't need the others, and it's gonna lead to a match later on tonight. I will admit the fact that ODB is ODB and calls her saying, I'm a 4-time knocked up champion. I'm about to become a 5-time knocked up champion. I'm
Yep.
She definitely said knocked up by mistake.
No, she totally said it on purpose. That's
she
the only
had
thing.
to. Yeah, I saw it as it had to be on purpose.
See, to me, I was watching it and she went knocked up and then kind of like, oh shit, I've said the wrong thing. It's like, about to be a 5-time knocked up, and like that's the way I took it. Like she'd messed up there.
Well, I mean, like it's pre-taped, right? So I mean, maybe she said it by accident. And they're like, "Oh no, we're keeping that."
Oh yeah, that's gold right there.
Yeah, it's like when AJ called Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens Cammy backs, and that was great. That was a good one. But so that just leads into a match later on tonight. Nothing spectacular here, other than like the knocked up line. Next we go to Trey bumping into Sam Beal, which was the guy that Callahan recruited or brought with him. For this one, I'm going to go straight to the match.
Cool.
Sam's telling him, like, Sammy wants me to, like, Sammy says you're too scared to face me and all this stuff. And he says, I'm the future. And he sees something in me. And I'm just like, oh, man, this night's not going to end good for you.
I love it.
Yeah. So the match itself, we get Callahan coming out and hyping up Sam Beal, which is cool, which is really fun. And kid looked tough. Kid looked good. Really enjoyed the little bit. Like, he had some great offense, but Trey Miguel was completely distracted by Sammy at first, right? And eventually Trey was just like, screw it, kicks it into high gear, and he goes over Sam Beal, of course. When he runs up the ramp going towards Callahan disappears, reappears in the middle of the ring, and hits Sam Beal with his with the cactus pile driver or the cranial contusion.
Love it.
Yeah. To me, this was like a perfect little story. The match was the match, whatever. I don't care. The story was perfect.
Yeah.
This is yes. I want more. I'm eating it up. Jordan?
First of all, this was perfect storytelling beyond words. And I will not be surprised if Sami Callihan was behind this in terms of creative, because he's had roles in creative companies or as a creative person behind companies. And I would not be surprised because it was such perfect storytelling. I mean, you got a young guy who Sammy has got in his head, like, you could be better than Trey. You could be a world champion. You could beat him any day of the week. And, of course, the guy's thinking, man, Sami Callihan thinks I could be world champion. Trey's never said that. I'm going to beat up Trey. And then Trey, he's like, all right, screw it. I got to teach him a lesson. And when he beats the guy, Sammy pretty much said, oh, well, you're no use to me anymore. I used you for what I needed. And what does he do? The whole ICU thing comes out, pile drives him. I mean, it just basically showed you what a scumbag Sami Callihan is, that he will mess with young kids that Trey Miguel knows, and it doesn't matter. He will use anybody to get in your head. And that is what a heel is. Not a guy who's just like gonna just be like, oh yeah, I'm better than you. Sami Callihan is a guy's like, I will use anything you have, your family, your friends, everybody, just to get in your head.
Yeah,
I hope we see more of Sam Beal. I hope this is just one and done. I think he looks really good. He looked fucking huge.
Yeah,
he's a pretty big guy.
Yeah, and okay. Obviously, his part of this story's ended, but let's keep an impact, guys. Let's keep it going.
His part in the story doesn't have to be over. That's the thing, right? Like, it doesn't have to. If you think about it, like, he could very easily just start, like, trying to find Callahan. And what if Callahan takes him out again? And then a few weeks later, he's back. And what's more?
It almost sounds like the Tommy Dreamer storyline where he's trying to beat Sammy, but he just can't get it.
Yeah, except it'll be a young guy doing it and not a broken old man.
Nah.
Hey, man, I was kind when it came to Swan and Tommy Dreamer. I had nothing but kind and respectful things to say about Dreamer that entire time. Okay?
Yeah.
It has passed. I'm back to normal about Dreamer.
Just remember, I have a list of shame nicknames, and I will use them again. I will use this whole list. I actually wrote down every Shane name I could think of, and I will use it.
God, that's great. So we're all in agreement that we want to see more Sam Beal.
Yeah.
Yeah. after the original promo, we did get Swan and Moose promos, but it was basically just the same promos from the week before.
Yeah.
And it was just like re-spliced and edited. Nothing spectacular. I don't even think there was really anything new. That was kind of disappointing.
I will say that those promos, all it did was make me want Moose to win more, because here's my reason. If they were going to do something more with like AEW, because everyone's rumored about AEW and Impact having a champion versus champion thing, I would rather have...
rumor.
I would rather have... Well, I'm,
it's fine. At this point, like, this is a recap from the day, like, going up the morning before the new episode, guys.
I believe in kayfabe. I believe in kayfabe. But anyway, if I was wanting it to be like a real, like, okay, AEW's guy versus an Impact guy, I would rather have a guy who's been there through thick and thin as the guy. Even the heel. Even if he's the heel. He's been with Impact. I don't know. It's just Rich Swann ever since these promos have just made me not really like him.
When we get to predictions for Sacrifice at the end of the episode,
yeah,
I'll go into it. I'll go into what I think is going to happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, these promos didn't do much for me overall. Next, though, we got Mahabali Shera and Rohit Raju teaming up against James Storm and Chris Sabin. So, Jay, you want to take us through the match a little bit?
Yeah, so Sabin gets the pin over Raju after a backstabber from a backstabber and a cradle shot from Sabin.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what? Chris Sabin and James Storm, they just work so well together.
It's starting to grow on me, yeah.
You can tell they're friends. Like, in real life, you can tell they're friends. And they have a good time, They're funny. They work well together. I just don't want to see them as a tag team.
I mean, as soon as Shelley gets back.
Yeah.
Like, Storm can go off, might as well just go off and do his own thing. But...
And this is one of the things, like I was talking about with Steel, with Kiera Hogan. Sometimes there's guys who are not just really good in tag teams, they're also really good in singles. And that's the same deal with Chris Sabin and James Storm. They're really good singles and also just as good, maybe even better as tag team or in a tag team with anybody. I mean, Chris Sabin's still, in my mind, better with Alex Shelley.
I'll be honest, James Storm can team with anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, anybody is crazy. Go for it.
I think has anyone watched? Shero also works for OVW, which is like Impact's development thing. Has anyone watched on there?
I don't watch. No, I try to keep up with it every once in a while, but just checking what's going on. Yeah. But no, I don't watch it.
Same here.
But obviously, it's run by Al Snow, and he's doing really good down there. Really enjoying his work down there. I've just gone and watched a few clips on YouTube, but he looks like a fucking beast.
Yeah, and I've been checking out Laredo, so
yeah. And then after this match, we have Shera slapping Rohit backstage and pinning him by what looked like his ears.
Yeah, he's like grabbed his head and just like crushed it to lift him up in the air. Is what I saw. Is how I felt. That was good.
Yeah,
that was good.
It was the way I think Shera should have been from day one. This big man who isn't going to take your crap. And Rohit is just, I thought, sold it so well. Being, the classic, like, what are you going to do? Huh? I'm going to poke you in the chest. Does it annoy you?
Yeah.
Does it annoy you? You're not going to do shit. And then he just grabs him. It's just like, ah!
My only issue is that it was so much further in the episode.
Sorry, my bad.
No, that's fine. No, I'm cool with you bringing it up now because it's relevant to what's happening now, which is what Impact should have done. That's what I'm saying.
I think it was a really good way of carrying, like, ending that storyline and moving on to the next one. And it's,
Yeah.
For WWE fans, they're not used to that sort of stuff. Let's face it,
true.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Storyline in WWE.
Interesting.
Interesting.
watchable.
Yeah, there you
go.
But next we get the Decay, and next is when we set up Decay versus Reno Scum, right? And I enjoyed this because you got Romero and you got Larry D just being themselves, like, oh, we're not scared. Whoa, screw Decay, we ain't scared of nothing, blah blah blah. Right? As soon as they show up, they're just like, we're not scared of nothing.
Yep.
Reno Scum, it's your fault. We lost last week. Bye. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like, and they take off. And I love how Reno Scum is just like, yeah, we don't care. Let's do this.
There you go.
It's like, you guys are freaks. You guys think you're freaks? We don't care. Let's do this. You know, like
when Reno Scum walked away and Rosemary's like, what? No, I think it could have been Crazy Steve said, "What a couple of freaks."
yeah.
It's just hilarious.
Great.
And I think this just is a good reward for Reno Scum for working so hard with, the Good Brothers and just really being a true team for Impact. To give them a pay-per-view match, I think it's just well-deserved.
I mean, Impact has this thing where they try to get everybody on. They really try to get as many people in the pay-per-views as they can, which is why we have 9 matches.
But who never has the problem seeing Decay do anything? They are just gold every time.
Yeah.
I love their promos, man. Anytime that cool background is so creepy and cool.
Courtney Rush is a genius.
Oh yeah.
I don't know how she pulls off all the different versions of Rosemary and how every face paint represents a different sin, and she actually plays the character differently to represent that sin better. And oh man, like so much thought.
When the Fiend came around, obviously on WWE, I was massive. I really enjoyed that, and part of me wanted her to go to WWE to be Sister Abigail. I just think she's that good.
Yeah.
She could have. She's the only person who could have made it work for me.
I agree.
I will say this about Rosemary. She did have one of the greatest promos ever where she didn't even say a word. And it wasn't even her promo. And this is what I mean. There's a wrestler in a company called Smash named Suave.
Yeah.
I think Trevor knows what I'm going to talk about. And he was talking about, Rosemary and just, oh, yeah, she may be scary. She all that. But, I'm not scared of her. And the camera just backs up. And you just see Rosemary like just laying on top of something, just listening to him, and just being cute and adorable and terrifying.
Well, Rosemary beat Casey Spinelli to become the first Smash Women's Champion, if I'm not mistaken. So
yeah, it's just
she's just one of those match.
She's just one of those great talents who can not only wrestle really well, but as you said, puts a lot of thought into her character, which is hard to do to keep it fresh. And can also, doesn't need to have a gigantic transformation into something else. She can keep, like when they brought back Decay, I was kind of like, it's not going to be as good as before. But no, they've actually kept it really, they've done very well with it.
Yep.
I agree. I'm going to agree. I was worried that Decay without Abyss was going to be a bit lackluster, actually. And actually, it is better, yeah.
Yeah. They're not rehashing it. They're making it, they're evolving it.
Yes.
To me, Abyss was never the guy for Decay.
Really?
To me, it really was Rosemary and Crazy Steve. Like,
that is
Decay to me.
But at the time, like, Abyss was like a well-known face in the company. Crazy Steve and Rosemary weren't when they first started. And
they needed that extra star power. I do agree with you.
Yeah, well, when I remember Abyss came to Halifax, and the first thing I wanted to ask him was about Decay. So I got them the chance. I said, did you think Decay was going to be, as over and as popular as it was? And he just said, honestly, we just hoped people would like it. And we are so happy that people were mad that it ended.
Yeah.
Because he said,
that was
it's really good when people don't want you to end it. And it's not because of anything you guys did. It was just Crazy Steve left Impact. And you can't do it with just Abyss and Rosemary, I think. It needs to be a 3. It needs to be a 3.
It
Trio.
works best 3, but if you had to get to be 2, Rosemary and Crazy Steve are the best combination.
Yeah.
Of the original 3.
Yeah.
Next we go into the Violent by Design promo. So Cody Deaner is still getting his ass beat on a regular basis, apparently.
Am I the only one while he was getting beat just thought, for some reason, I thought the old like superhero cartoons of meanwhile. He's still getting beaten.
I was just worried they'd been in there with a week with no food and water. Like,
Yeah.
Is he okay? Is he dead?
But you really could you could take last week's promo, slap on a little 1 week later, and then just come to this. And like, Jesus.
I actually, and there was something else just before you go. I don't know why, and I hope people know this reference from The Simpsons. While they were doing that to Diener, all I could hear was some little kid going, "Stop! He's already dead." That's all I wanted to shout. I just was like, "Oh my God! For God's sakes, man, he's dead." We get it, you're violent by design, but jeez.
Yeah, and we get this. This is when Storm wanders in. Storm and Sabin wander in, and they're pissed off with Eric Young's methods. I mean, the 3 of them are they're all TNA originals, so I like this interaction right away. How they're just like they're talking to him like he's an old friend.
Yeah.
But the only thing I didn't like is how they had to again cut to back to this later on tonight. Have Jake something show up and set up and then be like, "Hey man, if you guys want to have a match against them, I'll have your back." And then they set up the match.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Jake something could have just showed up. That could have just been a brawl, and you could have easily had refs just tear it apart, or D'Amore even, and then had D'Amore make the match either that right then and there, have commentary announce that the match was made official after the commercial break. There's so many ways. I don't like how many cutaway segments we've had.
Yeah.
Like we had 2 interviews or 2 little backstage segments after the first match, and then we have to wait till the end of the show, towards the end of the show, to get the fulfillment of that. Then we got the tag match, and we had to wait for 2 different backstage segments to wrap that up, plus the Shira and Rohit segment on their own. So that's 3 separate segments. You know, like they could have combined some of these or shuffled it around, make it flow a little better. That's my major complaint about this episode in general. But I am excited to see Violent by Design versus Storm and Sabin. It should be cool.
Oh, without question, yeah.
Yeah.
Next is okay. Well, next is Myers with Scott D'Amore.
Yeah.
This is when Scott D'Amore tricks Ryan Myers into a hold harmless match, which he thinks means submission match. And Scott D'Amore is like, "Cool, you want to do this? You agree? Oh, awesome. It has nothing to do with submission matches." It actually just basically means hardcore rules. And Myers is just sitting there like, He's just like completely flabbergasted, flustered, and just like fed up at this point. Which, if I was Myers, like, I'd be fed up too.
Yeah.
Like, fuck. Goddamn Scott D'Amore. Picking his favorites. He's got 2. He's got 2, man, from what I can tell. He really likes Eddie Edwards, and he freaking loves TJP.
Oh,
he does, doesn't he? Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got to say, Scott D'Amore, just, I remember when he was like the leader of Team Canada.
Yep. Yeah. I loved it. The coach.
It's like a totally different person.
Oh,
yeah. It's weird.
Absolutely.
I love the way he was represented. He's always working this month. More than you, Trev, I'm sure. Like, honestly, he's always working.
This guy's insane, D'Amore. Like, the amount of stuff D'Amore has done, the amount of people I know that have been affected by D'Amore.
Yeah.
Like, you talk to people around even our part, even the Maritimes, and there are people who are affected by D'Amore to a point where we have one of his students is now running their own promotion and running their own school in Nova Scotia. So like that's awesome.
And he's also one hell of a wrestler.
Yeah, no, Kobe's one hell of a wrestler. I have a lot of respect for Scott D'Amore.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it might just be, Canadian, but so like, he's a huge name in the business in the Canadian for Canadians. It's kind of like Conan for Mexico. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's just a given. Mm-hmm. I feel like Scott D'Amore was serving the same role as what Conan was doing, but in Canada instead of Mexico, of course. Mm-hmm.
I'm very excited for the match with him and Eddie with no rules. I'm very excited to see what they do with it, because Eddie's just so good in hardcore matches, and he's also good in regular matches.
I hope it's better than it was last.
Yeah.
Well, I will say Cardona is not on the card for Sacrifice. I will point that out.
Mm.
So when Hernandez comes out to try and help Myers, Cardona's going to show up.
Let's hope it's not Hernandez and it's someone new.
I really hope it's someone new, because especially if they don't say anything at all about someone new showing up, don't even tease it, man. Just let it happen. Yeah. Let the viewers come and flock after the fact.
Exactly.
Curtis Hennig, is it?
Sorry?
Who?
Is it Curtis Hennig?
Former Curtis Axel?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Curtis Hennig, I was about to say. Yeah, Mr. Perfect ain't around anymore, sadly. Rest in peace.
Curtis Hennig is. I can't remember what his name is, but Mr. Perfect.
I get you. So Joe Hennig, I think his name is. Joe Hennig? Is it?
I'll be honest, I just know him as Curtis Axel. I've never actually, I've never really bothered to look into what his real name is. I'm like that about a lot of wrestlers, though. I don't really care what their real names are. I just care about what they're calling themselves.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, he'd be really cool, actually. Like that would be really cool. Because he's underrated in my opinion. He's really good.
Well, he worked for WWE. He was underutilized, wasn't he? Let's face it.
Yeah. Next, we get the AEW ad for this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one was like hit or miss. But there's nothing spectacular about it.
God.
It was a hype video. That's all it was. It was a hype video for their next one.
It was just hype for Dynamite, and I don't even think it needed it.
Yeah.
If anything, I think it should have just been Tony Khan going, "We got Christian Cage."
Yeah.
That's right, Impact.
Yeah.
We got one of the former biggest names in TNA history. You know what I mean? Like I think it should have been that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it should have been Tony Khan just talking up the fact that they got Christian Cage.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all I really have to say about the AEW promo. I don't know about you guys, but
it was really the first time ever for me that I just didn't care for when Tony Khan talked. It just didn't have that same. To me, when he talks and he's doing the whole he should have done that, Trev. You're exactly right. He should have just been and everybody thought Christian would come back to Impact where he was so great. Wrong. Mm-hmm. He came to us because we're better than you guys now. It's and look, and Sting, he was pretty good in your days, but now he's become a legend with what he did with Darby Allin. And it's just I like it when Tony Khan rubs it in the face of Impact, what he does. But this one, it just felt like, it felt like a classic commercial of hey, tomorrow night, guys, we got AEW with all these guys here. It just didn't have that Tony Khan magic.
Well, he can't slander Impact anymore.
Yeah.
Because he did that rally call the week before.
Which Josh Matthews actually mentioned with his interview on D'Lo Brown. On
that's true. Josh Matthews brought that up with the interview with D'Lo. And now it looks like Khan doesn't know where to go with them.
I still think he could. I still think he could do it.
Them anymore.
He could have gone the route of, look what we've got. Look who we've taken.
Yeah.
He
still could have been late.
I don't know. I
If
think he could
Christian
still make fun of him. I think you could
Don't
still do the
worry,
little
Impact.
brother thing of like, like he could still do the thing of like, yeah, I know we're all on the same team, but
No, I think I
I
got
got
it.
what?
Don't worry, Impact. I just saved Christian Cage from them.
Oh, there you go. Yes, that
Done.
would have been great.
That would that would have been perfect because you're not
It
putting
would have,
Impact down at all, but you're hyping up Christian Cage at the same time.
In a
You're
way,
bringing
you
up the
are.
TNA history.
In a way, you are because you're pretty much saying, I saved him, but you guys didn't.
It's like a subtle little. There's a little bit of shade in it.
Like he's better off here than the place where he became a world champion.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
Yeah, I hope. Yeah, I just hope it gets better.
Oh man, next was the contract signing.
Oh yes, I've been waiting for this one.
This was exactly what it needed to be. They're just like Scott D'Amore, just like guys, sign this. Guys, sign. I know what's gonna happen here. Just before you get too hammered, remember to sign this. Bye.
He says to Dog Gallows, Dog Gallows, you're a room guy. You know, you're an office boy. You can get this to me.
You can do this. Which is hilarious. Which I just found out that Gallows has a lot to do with Lariato Pro. It's one of the other promotions that is currently running. It is on Impact Plus. You need the paid membership to watch it, but it's there.
Oh, nice.
And Crazy Steve is in there. Gallows and Anderson are their tag team champions.
They're having the
yeah
Aces and Ace reunions on there, aren't they?
Yes, that's where they're doing the Aces.
I saw the poster.
Yeah.
Which I'm a
That's
bit
cool.
good. We're not getting on Impact.
Yeah, that makes me a little sad we're not getting on an Impact. But maybe it's like testing the waters, right?
It's got to be.
Yeah. But yeah, no, you have like Anderson Gallows, like, oh, let's have a shot of whiskey, boys. And then they're like, then you're like, oh, you're only gonna have one shot of whiskey, you're not gonna have two. And Finn Juice is like, oh, yeah, we'll do more. And then Juice is like, what? Only two? We're not gonna do three?
Yep.
But Finn Juice don't drink their thirds.
Yep.
They throw them into. Oh, they filled those glasses. Yeah. And they throw their glasses into Anderson and Gallows' faces instead of drinking their third shots, and all hell breaks loose.
Yep, classic.
All as we knew it would.
It looked like an action film the way it was filmed. It was really, really good.
Yeah.
Impact is really good at implementing that cinematic style.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And it was really, really well shot.
Oh yeah. I gotta just say this because, and I'm probably biased when I say this was the greatest contract signing in wrestling history because it had so much of a good, fun feel to it. I mean, Scott D'Amore being smart enough to say, guys, I know what's going to happen. You guys are going to sign. You guys are going to fight. I'm going to be like, come on, guys. You know what? Not going to do it. Contract here. Sign it. Just get it to me. And there were so many little one-liners they were saying to each other. That was so funny. Like Anderson giving Dave Finley the drink. He's like, I'm a Finley, man, you know. Anderson just saying like, oh, this ain't this Irish whiskey. This is the real stuff.
Yeah.
And you know how Juice Robinson is, you know, giving shout outs to Japan, constantly saying, "Kampai," like,
yes,
come on, homie.
Juice Robinson has jumped in. Yeah. Sorry, go for it, Jay. Sorry.
Scott D'Amore actually said it's Impact versus New Japan. Like, you know, he dropped that out there.
And when they were signing the contract, and Doc Gallows goes, "Okay, you know what? Here you go, Marks." And he's just like, "Oh my god!" And it was just so well. It was just so fun, and also hearing Anderson just mock them, just going, "All right, you young boys, see if you guys can actually hang, huh? You young boys good enough?" It's just like, this is the one thing I hate about contract signings is you know how it's going to go. You know it's going to be a fight. You know that they're just going to brawl after signing the contract. They're going to say their promos, and then they're going to fight. That's it. These guys made you wait They made you have a laugh. Scott D'Amore made it funny with just being like, you know what? Here, contract's there. Just sign it. I am just going to be outside. So, find me in the office, whenever. But that was just, the last thing I'll say about it is just, it was just fun to watch this contract signing. And I haven't remembered the last time I was having fun watching a contract signing.
Never. Wait, no, once. But it involved Mark Sterling. It involved smart Mark Sterling and MJF when he was doing when Mark Sterling was doing MJF's lawyer against Moxley. Only time. They made that funny. That's why.
Mm-hmm.
Most contract signings just in the ring, sign it. Someone's going through a table.
Yeah.
Yep.
This was different. I enjoyed it.
Next match probably should have been the main event.
Yes.
Not really sure why it wasn't. Ace Austin versus Chris Bay.
Oh yes.
Now before we go anywhere,
go for it.
Now Matt Striker, as Chris Bay was coming to the ring, he says he's talking about Bay's cameo, that you can hire him to say something, and what he said was, you can do that here. That I laughed so much. Again, a shot at WWE. And it's just such a minor, you would have missed it. That and it just made me laugh. I got it straight away, and it was hilarious.
That is a good one. You're right. I actually missed it.
I asked you, and I was that's what I was saving for this.
The match.
I rewatched the match after you said that, thinking, okay, what the hell did I miss?
Yeah, the match was fire though. It was absolutely
my God, yes.
Chris Bay and Ace Austin, at this point, these two guys just know each other so well, work together so well. They can fight. They can go against each other. They can be a tag team. They can anything. Doesn't matter. These guys can just figure it out. The ending is, I like the whole thing with Madman Fulton and Ace telling him sit down, don't worry about it, all this stuff. That was fun. But the ending comes when TJP comes out and sits on the top of the ramp, causing a distraction. And I don't. How does Chris Bay get the win exactly?
He reverses something of Ace Austin's, and he does a cutter, and then does a cutter off the rope, and gets the pin while Madman's chasing TJP, and he kind of turns around for a second and then runs after him, and that's when the pin happens.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, no, this should have been the main event. I'm really sad that it wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't because of the stupid casino scene afterwards. I guaranteed that's their reason for not putting it as the main event. But anyway, the spot on the outside when Ace tapped on Fulton's back. I love how D'Lo commented about it too. That was tapped on his back. Fulton bends over, and Ace just flies over Fulton, attacking Chris Bay. It was great.
But Madman Fulton pushes Ace Austin out the way so he doesn't have to take the damage.
Yeah.
Again, this isn't just a big man bodyguard. This is a friendship, and it's evolving week for week, and it's so good.
Yeah.
I love it. I'm loving this story.
You guys both know I've said it 100 times that I say Chris Bay and Ace Austin are the future of this company. And the greatest thing about this, and that people, I don't know if they ever just realize this, Ace Austin's 24. Chris Bay is 25. These guys haven't even reached their prime yet. They're only going to get better. And just think about in another, it's just how good they're going to get when they're both main eventers, because that's what they're going to be. There is no question. They're going after the X Division title. That's great. But man, I can't wait for them to just be on the main events.
Here's how it should go too. These two are eventually going to have a big blow-off feud against each other. Right? The one who loses can then leave, go to New Japan, and be part of the Best of the Super Juniors tournament, maybe. Imagine Ace Austin versus guys like Will Ospreay.
That would be cool.
I don't know how much New Japan guys how familiar you guys are with New Japan, but man, there's some crazy crazy junior heavyweights over
like
there.
Taiji Ishimori and Leo Rush.
Leo Rush is in the American soil version of it, but he's still there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of crazy good guys in there right now. Like just El Phantasmo from Bullet Club.
Yeah.
Taiji Ishimori, like you said, from Bullet Club as well. Desperado, who is the current champion, who is also half of their tag team champions of the junior heavyweight tag team champions. Like, man. And
I just
wait
thought
for
of
her
something.
to get back.
Yeah. I just thought of something that would be so cool, and I don't know if you agree with me, Trevor. Would Ace Austin be so good in Suzuki Gun?
No.
Really? I think he would be.
Suzuki Gun are not heels anymore.
Really?
Right?
Minoru Suzuki's a face.
They're kind of just like Minoru Suzuki himself is kind of like right in the middle, but he's no longer like, man, Suzuki Gun is Suzuki Gun in name only at this point. Like Minoru Suzuki is not as active as he was like 3 years ago.
Sadly, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he's slowing down. We talked about it a little bit in New Japan one day, how we'd actually like to see Tai Chi maybe take over and Tai Chi Gun.
Yeah. That's just so weird. Suzuki Gun is face. And
Tai Chi and Desperado, man. Tai Chi and Desperado are them and Saber. Those three guys are the faces of Suzuki Gun right now.
So weird.
That and Will Ospreay has done United Empire.
Yeah, I know
United
that.
Empire is him, Jeff Cobb, and Great O'Khan, and they're all heels. Throw Ace Austin in there.
Cool.
But yeah, let's move on to the casino. I have nothing to say about the casino spot because to me it ruined the entire show because I couldn't have that great match as my main event.
I've got something to say.
There you go. Thank God.
It was nice to see the signs back.
I did like TJP not taking anything Josh was saying seriously and just like, standing back up the moment Josh sits down and TJP being a kid, basically.
I wish though, my favorite thing that they could have done would be if they did kind of make fun of the fact that the signs fall down and Johnny's just like telling somebody, he's like, make sure the tape's on good. I don't want this sign falling down again, man. Makes this place look cheap.
That would have been really
just making it like, dude, you do realize that's a paper sign and that's just gonna fall down again. Just like literally as while TJP and Josh are talking, you just see a guy like putting more and more tape on the sign, and if it falls down again, it's where it's just like, that is horrible. Where's the duct tape?
Yeah.
But I agree, yeah. It just didn't feel like, it's like, oh, why wasn't that the main event?
I guess they are building back up to Josh going up against TJP again after this. So I'm like, so are you already telegraphing that TJP is going to win against Ace? And if so, then what was the point of the last couple of weeks of TV? Scrambling to cover the fact that they couldn't get Sammy Guevara. Right? And you just made it they just made it obvious to me. That's what happened. They just made that entire storyline obvious to me. Anyway.
I didn't see that yet. I didn't even pick up on that.
Same here.
I see things, man, because like everything sets something else up. Everything should be in motion. Should be the next step for something else, and it's how I write my shows. Let's face it, I write my shows planning 3-4 shows at a time.
Well, that's the only way to do it. You can't think about the first show. You got to think about the build-up.
I'm happy to hear you say that that's the only way you can do it. Because now I can be like, see, I have other people who agree with me.
Well, that's just if you're, and I'm not a bug or anything. Yeah. But, if you're literally just thinking about next week, then, oh, well, you're fine. But you need to build up to those big shows. And you can't do it just one show. You have to really think forward. That's the only way you're going to succeed.
Well, I was actually with the Omega bit is one thing that, like, how long has this storyline been building up for Omega versus and it's just been little subtle things, and obviously they had this planned ages ago when they said about Rebellion. You know what I mean? They knew what they were doing, and they built up all this story, and you can tell. And that's something that I was going to bring up later on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so next match we got ODB versus Susan. Right? And this is nothing spectacular. This was just a fun, goofy little ODB showing us she can still go. Susan being Susan. And ODB goes over.
Again, needing a win before the pay-per-view.
Sorry?
Needing a win before the pay-per-view.
Absolutely, yes.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. Like, I don't really have anything else to say about the match. Like, it shouldn't have been the main event. There's nothing wrong with the match. It just shouldn't have been the main event.
It could have been on BTI.
Yeah, it totally could have been a BTI match. Very easily. But they needed it before the pay-per-view. So, you know.
Yeah.
Unless you guys have anything else to add about it, I'm just going to jump into the ending part.
Just that you're right. It did what it had to do. ODB got the win so that they can move on into the pay-per-view. I'm really wondering what they're doing with the Susan character. I don't know anymore.
I think they're just getting ready to exit her.
Good.
Yeah.
After the match,
Just
get
fine.
Kimberly and Deanna run out and beat down. Jazz and Jordan make the save, and then Fire and Flavor come out. Obviously, just setting up the matches for Sacrifice. Yeah.
I do like how almost the entire women's division is like intertwined, but in like these weird, cool, complex ways that it works for me.
Yeah.
We are getting a lot of variations out of these matches right now. But yeah, no, next part, we got Scott D'Amore sitting in his office, talking to somebody, we don't see who it is, setting up a match, setting something up, saying everything's official, it's all good to go. Moose's music hits. So Scott D'Amore's like, oh, for sakes.
Yep.
Goes out to deal with Moose. Rich Swann comes out as well. They're in each other's faces, and he announces that that after the title unification, it's a title unification match for the Impact and TNA. Some people online are arguing about this.
Yeah.
It's a unification match. We're going to have the winner of that match defend the Impact World title against Kenny Omega in what is a title for title match. I assume both belts are on the line in a title for title match.
Yeah.
And it's not a bragging rights match.
No, it is title for title, yeah.
It has to be.
Again, there's people online who just, for some reason, really don't know how to read.
Or listen.
I don't know how else to explain it. Okay. I have like my predictions on how that match is going to go and what's going to happen there. We knew this was coming. We knew that Omega was going to be back for Rebellion with the Omega symbol being in the Rebellion poster. But they're finally going forward with the belt collector gimmick. Finally pulling the trigger on that. I don't care for it as a gimmick for Omega personally, as you guys know. But how are you guys excited for it? Like, how do you guys feel about that? The title for title, if finally happening, being announced, we have it confirmed, and we knew it was coming.
I'm hyped.
Yeah,
you know, I'm looking forward to it. The one thing when Moose came out, and he's like, "I'm going to hold up this show." You've got 10 minutes left. Like,
I'm just going to stand here till Saturday.
There you go. We're on tape delay. It's cool.
They'll leave Dina in a room for a week, so
there you go.
I'm very excited for this match too. Just to know that Kenny Omega's coming back, because I gotta admit, when AEW kept doing the paid advertisements, to me it made sense when there were AEW guys showing up. And I was like, okay, there's no AEW guys showing up. So someone has to be showing up sooner or later, because to me it's just there's no sense of them just showing up.
Well,
But
that's again the curse of TV tapings.
yeah,
Sammy didn't show up on the day, like you know the story they had for Sammy Guevara didn't work out on the day of the tapings. They didn't have the time to get somebody else in. So unfortunately, that means no AEW presence on these tapings. At least we had Finn Juice.
Yeah.
If we wouldn't have had Finn Juice, we'd be screwed. Sorry.
I don't think it's a bad thing we don't have any AEW guys. We've got New Japan guys at the moment.
Yeah.
And like you said last week, you know, have too many people from the other promotion and it dilutes it. It makes it unimportant. You know, I think it's not the worst thing in the world that there's not AEW guys on there. You've got Tony Khan every week. I'm happy with that.
Oh yeah, I think it also works because it gives people this excitement of, oh, what's going to happen next?
Yeah.
I will say what should happen next is women's interaction.
Yes.
Yeah.
I want to see Deonna Purrazzo make Britt Baker tap.
Surprised you didn't go with your favorite.
Sorry?
I'm surprised you didn't say your favorite.
I don't want to see Maki Ito lose. I don't want to see Deonna Purrazzo lose. So Britt Baker it is.
Maki Ito, she has won me over this week, by the way.
How could she not?
Oh man, God, she's adorable.
Maki Ito Respect Army all the way.
Oh, I saw the BTE thing you were talking about, by the way.
Surprise, motherfuckers!
It's one of those things where you hear, it's like, you know, when you tell somebody a good movie and you tell them the line and they're like, oh, that's funny. It's nothing compared to when you actually hear the line.
Yeah.
And when he said it, and I just see her cute little self standing there going, hey, surprise, motherfuckers! It's like, good. Oh my God, I love when Japanese people swear. They're so cool.
Yes.
So that was everything for Impact for this from last week to get you ready for Sacrifice tonight. But what we're gonna do, normally we'd be going into making an impact right now, which we'd be talking about people we'd like to see in Impact Wrestling. But since we have Sacrifice, we're going to be doing a predictions title for Impact Wrestling between the three of us. So we're each going to choose our predictions for who we think is going to win for each match, all 9 of them. The winner, the person who gets the most predictions right without a tie, is the winner and will be crowned the first champion. Going forward, a tie means champion will retain. Now, if there is a tie, we will go into, when it comes to title matches, we'll go into some detail about how we think it's going to go down. And that can give you bonus points, essentially, in the case of a tie.
Cool.
Well, you didn't explain that to me.
I've been thinking about it, and that's the one I decided. I'm like, if there's a tie, we can look in the details of like how, because sometimes like I can say Rich Swann wins and you say Rich Swann wins, but the way we think Rich Swann is going to win is completely different. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, first match I got written down is Havoc and Nevaeh versus Tenille and Caleb with the K.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be Tenille and Caleb because that's going to further along the story of Havoc and Nevaeh.
Mm-hmm.
Jay?
I've got Dashwood and Caleb.
You as well, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan?
And I was...
Carry
on.
As the man who will win this belt, and I'm not bragging, it's just facts, let me just breathe in the smell of soon-to-be victory. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm being the heel in this three-way.
That's what you think.
I'm going to go with the same. I'm going to go with Caleb with the K and Tenille because I think Havoc will turn on her.
Yeah.
Oh, that I don't think. I don't think that's going to happen. But Decay and Reno Scum. I'm saying Decay because they're on fire right now.
So what happens if we've all got the same? Because I've got Decay as well.
The first couple matches are usually fairly easy. I assume it's going to be the title matches when we're going to start saying otherwise. Because there's a couple of these matches where legitimately it could go either way, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But it could happen in the future. Sometimes the cards sometimes cards are obvious.
Mm-hmm.
But like Violent by Design with Storm and Satan.
I also picked Decay, by the way.
Sorry. Yes. I figured we all picked
You
Decay.
have forgotten the champion.
Like if a fan stands a chance against a real booker.
Call me when I actually see one.
Oh.
Jay is just sitting there just like, yes,
loving it.
Fight among yourselves.
I think Violent by Design are going to win it.
Yeah.
Give me a
Violent by
second
Design
with
for
this
you as
one.
well, Jay?
Yeah, I've got Violent by Design.
Okay. Jordan?
This one's hard.
I agree. This one is hard.
I will have to
this one's
say.
easy.
That one's easy?
I don't know. I think Violent by Design have been doing really well. And I think they should win because Diener lost the tables match. So, yeah, I'm going to say BBD.
Myers and Edwards. I'm going with Myers.
This was my hardest pick, and I'm going with Myers as well.
Edwards.
I had a feeling you were going to say Eddie.
Gotta go with him.
Yeah. I think there's going to be a lot of shenanigans.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier, I think Cardona's not on the card. There's going to be a lot of shenanigans. So now we're getting into the title matches. Knockouts tag titles. Fire and Flava defending against Jazz and Jordan Grace.
Mm-hmm.
I think champions are retaining. And I think this is going to be a straightforward match. I don't think there's going to be some heel shenanigans, but there's not going to be like any interference or anything like that.
I've got Fire and Flava.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Fire and Flava.
So then we get Good Brothers versus Finjuice. Good Brothers for me all the way. There's no way Finjuice are winning this.
Sadly,
there's no way.
Yeah. It will be a shock if they do win. I will be very surprised.
It would be one hell of an upset.
Yeah.
That's something I will say. Deonna Purrazzo versus ODB.
Deonna retains.
Yep. Submission.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
X Division, Ace Austin versus TJP. Like I said, I think TJP is going to retain because I think they revealed their hand on this one. I could be wrong. But I think they showed their hand on that one.
See, I didn't pick up on that. I've gone with Ace Austin for the win, and I think Madman's going to get involved.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, I'm going with Ace Austin too.
Okay. So basically, what you guys think is going to happen is that, Ace is going to win it, and Josh and TJP are going to feud to see who becomes number one contender.
I actually think Chris Bay is going to try to interfere, cause Ace Austin, but he's going to miss. The classic thing where he tries to hit Ace Austin, hits TJP, and and then Ace gets the win.
Huh. Okay. Jay, how do you think it's going to go down?
Again, I think Ace Austin's going to win. I think there's going to be some distraction from Madman and, interference, something. Ace has got to pick up the win. The Josh Matthew thing, I didn't pick up on. I haven't even given a thought to tell you the truth. Like, obviously, I saw them interact, but I never thought about it like that.
So Swan versus Moose, Impact World Title, TNA Heavyweight Title. I got a little like storyline for this one for where it could go based on my pick. So I'll let you guys go first on this one.
Okay. I've got Rich Swann retaining. And I've got Rich Swann retaining. I want Moose to win so badly, but I've got Rich Swann retaining because Moose's contract is up in June. Yeah. Now, I think he'll resign, but because that doubt's there at the moment, I think they're going to leave it on Swann.
Okay. Jordan?
I'm on the same boat with Jay. It kills me because I want, as I said already earlier, I think Moose should be the guy to face Kenny Omega. But it's mostly because I'm thinking about this from, long-term storyline. We're remembering that Rich Swann in the six-man got pinned by Kenny. I believe that's what happened in the six-man.
Yes.
Yeah, I believe so. I'm looking at it like the classic thing of he got pinned and he wants to avenge the loss.
Okay. So here's what I'm doing. I say Moose. I say Moose is going to win it. And then Moose is going to lose the title to Omega. Moose's contract expires. Moose signs with AEW with the purpose of regaining the Impact title so he can bring it back home to Impact Wrestling afterwards. He doesn't give a fuck about AEW.
Yeah.
That's my story. That's what
they're not going to have Moose beat Omega on AEW. Fucking never.
Maybe not, but what if they did an actual AEW Impact Wrestling co-branded event? We've seen a lot of Impact used to do those co-branded Impact Plus specials all the time. And there's no reason why they can't do one. Like, I love those Impact Plus specials, like Sacrifice. Like they need, like we were supposed to get one, which was the old school TNA versus Impact of today.
Yeah,
I would kill
Home
for
Sweet
that.
Home, something like that.
Yeah,
I think it was something like that.
I would kill for that pay-per-view.
Yeah, TNA one night
love to see it. Bring back the six-sided ring for one night.
Yeah,
I love that six-sided ring.
I did too. I wish a company here would do it.
We will talk later, Jordan. I know things. That's all I can say. I know, like, really, I am not allowed to say any more than that right now.
I get you. Mum's the word.
When I can, I'll let you in on it. Trust me.
All I can say is I just hope for a good show because, the company is doing really well. I think this show is going to be awesome. I think even the tag team knockouts tag team title match could steal the show. It could do really well because of how good all four women are. I think Finn Juice is going to have just an awesome match with the Good Brothers. Like, that's a given.
That's going to be a match of the night for me, I think.
Ace Austin and TGP, in my opinion, is going to be match of the night because it's those two awesome superstars. I mean, one's the current X Division champion. The other guy is the guy who's going to be the man of the company one day. And Rich Swann and Moose, it's going to be a good match too. But all I can hope for is, is every match going to be a 5-star? No. No show has ever had that. But I just hope for a good show. That's all I hope.
Yeah.
I'm hoping Beautiful People. This is when I was a huge fan of Beautiful People. And
their entrance.
I'm hoping this is when they come, and so Jordan Grace and Jazz lose. Beautiful People come out and make the save. That's what I want.
Yeah. I was originally going to pitch maybe C-Stars show back up. But Ashley Vox is over on AEW Elevate.
Oh, good for her.
She's going to be on Dark Elevate on Monday. So I don't know. Maybe they still
doesn't mean it can't happen.
No, exactly. But they could still. I like the C-Stars. I think they're a great tag team. I think I think they should have stuck around. So I think Impact should have signed. But that was everything for the Go Home show for Sacrifice. You got all our predictions. Like, share, and subscribe, everybody. Leave comments down below for your predictions. And get ready for Sacrifice tonight. We'll be back on Tuesday with the Sacrifice results, getting ready for that night's Impact Wrestling. Have a good one.
See you later.
Or else.